Hey there folks, I'm Mark from Spectrum Pulse, and today we have from Doja Cat Scarlet. It's rarely a good sign when the drama around your album's release has started to eclipse the music, and what's truly frustrating is that for most of all this, I was on Doja Cat's side, calling out your last couple of albums for their very obvious pop sellouts that don't make the most of her potential. I have been saying that in my reviews, cussing out RCA and Kemosabe for bad promotion and support. I've been laying into them longer than Doja Cat has been active as an artist, and it's no secret how RCA treats black artists when they're considered no longer a priority. And then Paint the Town Red went to number 1 off the back of some tangible label support, so I figured they pulled a whole SZA behind the scenes to ensure that if the provocation could be managed, they would let Doja Cat do whatever the hell she wanted, including a bunch of satanic iconography that I found more personally cute than actively transgressive, but sure as hell played the reactionary set like a fiddle. She got her buzz. But all of this eventually had to build up to the album, which we finally got. And you know, I could highlight how all these tracks are stacked up with writing credits, which makes the whole adversarial beef that she had with her label look like a bit of a pose. But A, she's a pop act who at least bothered to write all her own lyrics. For the most part, I still expect this, and knowing more about how songs are constructed and how credit is given nowadays gives me a little perspective on this. And B, this is only a critique thrown at acts you don't like while you pay no attention to the frankly ridiculous list of credits for the majority of mainstream acts, especially so-called geniuses like Kanye or Travis Scott, even beyond sample attribution, because it's widely known in the industry that they write even less. So while we're in the spirit of pissing off everyone, this is easily Doja Cat's most defensive and angry album to date, a swerve into more aggressive rap with no guest stars, where her rage is most targeted at her online haters and her own capricious fan base, where we sadly get the other side of the Nicki Minaj comparison and just how petty most of this record can feel, and eventually that starts hitting diminishing returns. And it's kind of exasperating because Doja Cat's greatest strengths, they come in her playfulness, her knack for melodic hooks, and her weird mimetic sense of humor that bounces off her underrated intensity as a rapper. And more even than Planet Her, this is an album that's not built to flatter any of that, especially on the back half where she pivots into the spare, bass-heavy West Coast R&B that is her normal forte, but with all the baby voice cooing that also happens to kill any sense of momentum on a project that already starts to feel its length. Now, all of this could have been forgiven if we had top quality production, or killer hooks, or good bars, or potent vocal performances, or really any sense of introspection to provide context for all her frustration. And sadly, the one thing that she kept over from Planet Her is how undercooked so much of this all feels. If your most challenging production are a bunch of rage rejects that kept all of the shoddy mastering and certainly don't pay off anything satanic, that's a problem. Although I would argue the clunkier grooves are an issue even on the more R&B cuts here as well. Now, to be fair, there are moments where Doja Cat at least sounds like she's having some fun, and some love-struck energy really manifests, or some of that old quirky side comes through. Paint the Town Red, much to my surprise, has grown on me, mostly with the benefit of the hook, and one of the few places where the samples actually blended well in the mix on this album. Can't Wait's got a certain goofy earnestness, and a better groove is a pretty obvious 2000s throwback. Skull and Bones has a really nice, bassy, organic flow, and though I don't love the more cluttered mix on Love Life, it is a song where Doja Cat sounds gracious and self-aware in her victory, and it's a much better look. As a whole, though, Scarlet hits a weird uncanny valley for me. It's too sour and bitter to have a lot of charm, but not wild or abrasive enough to really nail that melodrama or intensity, where it wants the fans to have more sincere engagement beyond just the mainstream accessible pop, but we're only getting glimpses of that, and I'm not sure that's enough when there's no hook or bars that stand along with the best of Planet Her, where if her career takes a body blow, it'll be on just not being that interesting. At least when No Name intentionally set her career ablaze, she had some challenging themes and much better rapping and production. Even to fans, I'm sorry, I find this kind of hard to recommend. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching. If you'd like to see more, please be sure to like, share, drop some comments, and subscribe. I know Doja Cat fans might have contentious opinions on this one. Again, I wanted to like it, but there are some moments I just do not think this comes together, especially given how long it runs and how much space she would have to actually deliver something more insightful. Beyond that, if you want to get albums on my schedule, link to my Patreon's right over there. And as always, I'm Mark, you're watching Spectrum Pulse. I'll see you next time.